Okay, so we're going to be talking about parabolas in this lesson, and we're going to take a different twist to parabolas. Here we'll be looking at the focus, the directrix, and also the vertex. This will be more of an introduction to this concept about the parabola. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to first start by describing a parabola. We're going to look at some important notes about the parabola, and then we will calculate the vertex, a value known as the P, and if we're given the directrix and the focus. And then after that, we're going to look at some examples of how to apply these steps to some actual questions. Okay, so let's talk about a parabola. A parabola is a curve where any point is at an equal distance from a fixed point known as the focus. You can see that here. It's labeled F on this one and it's labeled focus right here, and a fixed straight line known as the directrix. This is directrix right here, this dotted line, and you can see the directrix right here. So let's look at how this applies. So it says the distance between the focus and any point on the parabola is the same as the distance to the directrix. So here it says there's an equal distance. Any point on the curve is at an equal distance from a fixed point known as the focus and a fixed straight line known as the directrix. So if I look at this right here, so if you look at this, for example, from here to here, and let me use a different color here, and from here to here, what this saying is that these are equal distances. Then also from here, if we had this point right here, from here to the focus is also an equal distance from here to the directrix. So that's the general idea of a parabola. So from here to the focus is an equal distance from here to the directrix. So that's the general idea of what a parabola is about. And we know that the directrix can be a vertical line. You can see that this directrix is a vertical line, which means you're going to have a horizontal parabola. And it could also be a horizontal line, which means you're going to have a vertical parabola. So let's talk about some other things about the parabola. The directrix determines the type of parabola, and I showed you that earlier, that if I have a horizontal directrix, my graph is going to be vertical, and if I have a vertical directrix, my graph is going to be horizontal. So it says the vertex of the parabola is the midpoint of the directrix and the focus. So if I have a focus right here, the focus here is the distance from the focus to the directrix is twice the distance from the focus to the vertex, or from the directrix to the vertex. And P is the distance between the focus and the vertex. The focus and the vertex, so this is your vertex here, so this is your P right here. P is also the distance from your directrix to your vertex. And your parabola opens away from the directrix. So something else that I want you to understand here is that the value of P could be P lets you know this distance as we discussed earlier, but the shape of the graph is determined or is decided by the distance from P to the distance from the vertex to the focus. Now, if it's going in the negative direction, that means that your graph is going to be is going to have a negative quadratic term. And if it's positive, you're going to have a positive quadratic term. So we'll go ahead and see how this works when we deal with some graphs. So it says steps to calculate the vertex and P given the directrix and the focus. So the vertex, you want to identify the directrix to determine if the parabola is vertical or horizontal. As a recap, if the directrix is vertical, your parabola is going to be horizontal. If the directrix is horizontal, your parabola is going to be a vertical parabola. So then you want to find the midpoint from the focus to the directrix. And it all depends on what type of directrix you have. That's going to determine how you deal with your midpoint. Then P is you want to find the distance from the vertex to the focus. The other thing to know is that P is going to be the same value as the distance from the directrix to the focus, the directrix to the vertex, or from the vertex to the focus. So that's how you deal with P. So let's look at some examples. So the focus of a parabola is 4, -7. So I have a habit of always wanting to draw something. It's just a lot easier to work with. So the focus of a parabola is 4 and 4, -7. So let's make it right here. Let's call this 4, -7. And the directrix is y equal to 3. So let's do that here. Y equal to 3. So find the vertex of the parabola and the value of P. The vertex of the parabola, so if I draw a line all the way up here, I'm going to get a point here, which is 4, 3. Okay, so because I'm drawing a vertical line all the way. And so now what we need to do is to figure out exactly where the midpoint of 4, -4, 3, and 4, -7 is going to be. So what we can do here is 4 plus 4 over 2 and 3 plus -7 over 2. So this is going to give us 4, and then this is -2. So 4, -2 is going to be, this is going to be our vertex. Find the vertex, and then we want to find the value of P. So one thing you can do to get the value of P, because y equal to 3, so we can just take this right here and say that the value of P in this case is going to be the halfway point between the directrix and the focus, and here that halfway point is 4, -2, but we want to get the distance from this. So you can see here that from -7 to 3 is 10 units, and then you just divide that by 2, and so you're going to get P equal to 5. And then your vertex is 4, -2. So that's how you're going to deal with it. You want to first, your vertex is the midway point between your focus and the directrix, and your P is the distance between your focus and vertex, or your directrix and vertex. So let's go to the next example. The focus of a parabola is -3, -10. So -3, -10. Let's do that here. -3, -10. And the directrix is x equal to 9. So let's have that here. X equal to 9. Find the vertex of the parabola and the value of P. So at this point, so I'm going to draw a dotted line right here. At this point, right here, we're going to have the value, x value here is going to be 9, and then the y value here is going to be -10. So now we want to find the midpoint. So your vertex is going to be the midpoint between your focus and your directrix. So we're going to have -3 plus 9 over 2, comma, -10 plus -10 over 2. So you can see here that this is going to be 6 over 2, which is 3, and this is -10. So you have 3, -10. So that's going to be right about here. So this is 3, -10 is going to be our vertex. Now what about our P? Our P is going to be the distance from -3 to 3, which is going to be 6. The other way you could look at it is that your P is going to be from -3 to 9, and then you divide that by 2. So that is going to give you 6 From -3 to 9 is going to give you 12 units, and then you divide that by 2, you have 6. So your vertex is 3, -10, and your P is 6. The next example we have the focus of a parabola is at 8, -1. So we have 8, -1. So let's call this 8, -1. And the directrix is y equal to -5. Y equal to -5. And we want to find the vertex. So what we're going to do here is, if we extended the line this far, we're going to say that at this point we're going to have 8, -5. So what we have for the vertex is the midpoint, so that is going to be 8 plus 8 over 2, and then the comma is -1 plus -5 over 2. So this is going to be 8 and then -3. So we're going to have 8, -3, maybe right about here. 8, -3, that's going to be our vertex. And our P is going to be from, remember, the P is going to be from the focus to the vertex or from the vertex to the directrix. We can see here that the distance from -5 to -1 is 4, and then we just divide by 2, so your P is equal to 2 units. Just note here that because it's distance, the P does not have a sign attached to it. The sign is only to let you know if it opens up or down, left or right. And then let's do one more example here. The focus of a parabola is at -2, -1. So -2, -1. So -2, -1. And the directrix is at x equal to -4. X equal to -4. And here we're going to have, at this point, we're going to have -4, -1. And so we want to find the vertex. So the vertex is going to be equal to -4 plus -2 over 2, and then -1 plus -1 over 2. So we're going to have here -3, -1 as our vertex. So -3, -1, so it's going to be somewhere right about here. So -3, -1. And then from here to this, from this point here, which is our directrix, which is on our directrix, to this point here, that's 1 unit, -4 to -3. And from -3 to -2 is 1 unit. Or, like I said earlier, you can find the distance from -4 to -2, which is 2 units, and you divide that by 2. So your P is equal to 1. So this is generally how you go about trying to find the vertex and the value of P when you are given the focus of the parabola and the equation for the line that represents the directrix.